Namaste. Welcome to Yin with Lynne. This is a short video that's going to teach you about your neck, your cervical spine. The cervical spine has 7 vertebrae, C1 to C7, and it is braced against the occipital, which is the base of your skull. The upper back is called the thoracic spine, and we're also going to be addressing the thoracic spine, which starts at the neck and goes through the middle of your back. We also have the rib cage, which twists around the spine with tissue between the ribs called intercostal muscle. So all of these areas, including the shoulders, can have an impact on how the neck feels. So we'll be addressing all of these areas of the body today in this short video on cervical spine health. So let's begin. Let's come onto our mat. I like to have a blanket across the middle of the mat and then maybe 1 or 2 blocks handy just in case we need them for our practice. So we're going to come to hands and knees. Let's bring the knees onto the blanket and then the hands flat on your mat. You don't have to have a yoga mat. You can simply do this on your floor as long as you have cushion. Now make sure your fingers are spread out, your hands are flat, you're not cupping your hands and putting all the weight on the median tendon of your wrists. Now on the inhale, we're going to drop the belly, taking the lumbar spine, your lower back, into its natural curve, and then lift through the chin. That's going to compress the back of the neck gently and squeeze out tension. Now on the exhale, round your back like a cat, tuck your tail, and bring your chin towards your chest, and that's going to extend your neck into a forward folding action. Breathing in, tail and chin go up. Breathing out, tail and chin go down. So doing this alone is going to help to bring more energy, blood flow to the cervical spine, through the whole spine, opening the front and back body. Beautiful. Now you might not think that addressing the feet has anything to do with the neck, but we have energy channels that go through the body that begin in the toes and feet and extend up into the face. So we're going to start with a little bit of footwork today just to see maybe the feet are the culprit of spine, lower back, or even neck issues. So bring your knees forward, knees together, feet together, toes pointed, and start to walk your weight back. Now, if it's uncomfortable or even painful to sit on the feet, take your block or cushion and put it between the feet. So we're stretching the tops of the feet first. 4 of those 6 lower body meridians that go down the legs go across the tops of the feet, addressing the stomach and spleen, the kidney and liver, the gallbladder and urinary bladder, channels and organs. So we want to work at a 5 in this class. Always in yin yoga, that's called your edge, and that's the first principle of yin. So a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, which means medium pressure. You can close your eyes, take some nice long slow breaths here. Start to open up the tops of the feet once you find your edge, your 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Those of you that are already pretty flexible, you're not using a block. If you need to go further to be at that 5, just simply lean back, put your hands behind you, and we'll stretch the quadriceps a little further. Good. Now we're going to come forward, back to table pose, and then just wiggle your feet around, getting any tension out of the feet from that last pose, and then turn your toes under. Start to come back gently, putting weight against the toes. So this is where those lower body energy channels I just mentioned for the lower body organs begin or end in the toes. So all 6 lower body meridians are being activated here. Meridians are simply energy channels that carry chi, prana, life force, energy, blood, lubrication to the joints, to the organs of the body. Beautiful. Now let's come forward again, wiggling your feet around. And then we're going to come back to table, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Let's raise the right arm to the sky. And then we're going to slide the right arm onto the floor behind the left wrist with the palm up. Keep your hips over your knees. Drop the shoulder to the ground wherever it feels good. Now, my teacher, Bernie Clark, says if you're feeling it, you're healing it. So we're supposed to feel something here. Let the shoulder rest against the mat. If it doesn't touch the mat easily or comfortably, we want to place a blanket maybe underneath the shoulder, but don't run away from sensation. As long as you can breathe and be still and relax, you're working at a good place. Now we're going to be here for 2 minutes, just allowing the connective tissue to be affected by this position. We have connective tissue between every bone, every vertebrae of the spine, including the neck, between every bone and each joint of the body. Here we're addressing the shoulder, the upper spine, the thoracic, and the neck, and the rib cage as well, with those connective tissue between the ribs called intercostal muscles. Now see if you can breathe. You can use your left hand in front of you for support, or if you need a little more intensity to get to your 5, push that left hand into the floor. Pull that left shoulder back, twisting the spine a little more, but please stay solid on your knees here. You don't want to fall over. 1 more minute. Take a few soft, sweet breaths in and out of whatever you're feeling right now. So the neck can move just like the rest of the spine in 6 directions. This is a gentle spinal twist of the neck. So the neck can twist to the left and to the right. We can also bring it into flexion and extension. So flexion is when you lift your chin. Extension is when you drop your head forward. And then we also can move the neck and the rest of the spine in lateral flexion, which would mean if you were seated, it's just simply dropping the ear towards the shoulder on either side. Beautiful. Just a couple more breaths. We want to move the neck in all these 6 directions today using our yin yoga postures. Now go ahead and plant your left hand back in front of your face and just gently pull the right arm out from under you and up to the sky. Now make sure you're not cranking on your neck in a way that's causing pain. Try to keep it relaxed, and then switch your hands, bringing the right hand down and the left hand up. Good. Twist through your upper back. And then do it 1 more time. Left hand down, right arm back up. This time we're going to step the right foot back. So you can move your left knee so it's directly underneath the left hip. Sweep the left toes behind you like a kickstand so you don't have to worry about falling back. And make sure your left hand is under your left shoulder. And if this bothers your wrist or your shoulder, feel free to put a block under the left hand. Now we're going to let the right arm fall back, opening up the chest as a counter pose. But we really want to address the neck here. So what we'll do is just let the head hang, let gravity stretch out the right side of the neck. Keep facing forward. This is lateral flexion of the neck. Now, if you want to make it a little more intense, just go ahead and lay your right arm right against the side of your body. Good. Feeling the stretch from the right shoulder into the side of the neck where the sternocleidomastoid muscles are. Now you can also slip your right hand behind your back to make it even more intense. Now remember to work at your 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Don't let your mind, your ego, comparisons or competition get in the way. We're here to take care of our cervical spine today. Just a few more breaths. You want to continue to breathe in each pose, and if you can't breathe, that's a sign that we may have gone a little too far. Just back out a little. Beautiful. Now very slowly bring your right hand back to the mat and your right knee, and just let your head hang forward for a moment. Good. Round your back, push down through the hands. Inhale, lift the chin, tilt the tail up again. Breathing out, we round. Breathing in, we arch the back. One more time. Rounding, chin towards chest, tail under. Breathing in, chin and tail to the sky. All right, let's come to neutral. Do the other side. Left arm goes up. Breathe in. Left arm slides right behind the right wrist with the palm up, shoulder down, left side of the face or head. Remember, sweet discomfort's the goal. So it's not supposed to be comfortable, but it's also not supposed to be painful. Make sure your hips are directly over your knees. Use the right hand in front of you for support, or you can push down into the mat to pull the right shoulder back more. All right, we're going to be here for 2 minutes. So let's just relax and breathe. Let your body go. Let it go. Let it relax. So the connective tissue within the joints of your neck, of your upper back, of your shoulders can heal. So sometimes when we suffer an injury or something comes out of alignment, what's going on is the fibers within the tissues are all tangled up. And they're kind of wrapped around each other and feels like a knot, and energy and blood stop flowing through that area. So what we're doing here is we're putting pressure on the ligament between the bones, on the fascia, around the joint capsule. And so as we pull on that tissue, those little fibers begin to align with each other again. So they just can slide along each other rather than being all tangled up together. 1 more minute, keep breathing. So I think it helps to understand how the body works, how it's put together, what's happening within the posture here. So just like when you go to the chiropractor and they, real quickly, they'll crack your neck or your back or put pressure on the body, or physical therapy. It's not always a comfortable experience or even a pleasant experience, but it's healthy to put this pressure on the tissue to make the energy in the blood able to flow again. And that's the same thing we're doing here. And we want to relax the muscle, because as the muscle relaxes, joint tissue takes on the pressure. Just a couple more breaths and we'll come out of our second side of thread the needle pose. Now, as you do these poses over and over again, they're going to get easier. Your body's going to change, but it does take time. So right hand right in front of your face. Just push that hand down, pull the left arm out and up to the sky. Beautiful. Feel your ribs turning, and then switch sides. Left hand down under your left shoulder, right arm gently to the sky. Notice how slow I'm moving. No jerky movements here. You can do what feels good with the neck. And now let's drop the right hand, left arm up again, and step the left foot back this time. Now make sure your left foot's flat. Right toes are behind you like a kickstand, so you don't have to worry about falling backwards. And then just drop your left arm back. It's like you're trying to open your chest to the sky. Let your head dangle. So the right ear is dropping towards the right shoulder. Remember, you can bring your left arm by your side and just let the head hang. We're addressing the sternocleidomastoid muscles and all the tissue on this left side of the neck. This is lateral flexion of your cervical spine. You can tuck your left hand behind you if that's comfortable. Keep on breathing wherever you go. Nice, steady breaths. Beautiful. Now let's slowly come back down to table, hands and knees. Let the head hang again. Good. Maybe rock your chin side to side like a pendulum. Beautiful. Feel the difference now. All right, now we're going to get into our back bending and forward folding of the cervical spine. So we dressed the spinal twist and thread the needle. Side plank, we got into lateral flexion. And now we're going to get into forward folding and back bending of your cervical spine. So let's curl the toes under like we did earlier, but this time we're going to crawl to the back of the mat. And we're going to get into this little squatting position. So some of you may know that in India, they do a lot of squatting. So squatting is one of the best things that you can do for your lower back, for your feet and knees. It's just a great stretch, but if you can't get into it yet, keep doing your yin yoga practice, working on the health of your joints, including your neck. Now we're going to roll up standing, nice and slow. Put your heels down and come on up, and then get your feet hip distance. And if you do have a block, please take it with you. So we're going to stand behind the blanket with the feet facing forward. And we want the feet hip distance, kind of like you're standing in line at the grocery store. Okay, comfortable stance. Now bend your knees. I like to put the block on top of my thighs and then my rib cage and part of my chest against the block. If that's not comfortable for you, use your elbows against your thighs instead. Now we're working on the cervical spine, right? So we want the back to be flat. You can put your hands on your knees if it's really just too intense, and maybe just let the head hang here. Otherwise, elbows on knees, letting the head dangle, letting gravity do the work, or your body against the block. And so with the body against the block, if you need to, you can bring your feet closer if it's falling between the knees. And then maybe hold opposite elbows. That's going to make it more intense. Or bring the hands behind your back if you're using the block. And that'll make it a little bit less intense. Now see how if we can just let go. And I remember when I first did this pose, my neck was so wound up and so tense, I could barely let my head go. I don't think I could even let it go at all at first. So if that's the case, please know there's hope. You just have to do this work. Now, if you're pretty comfortable here, slowly begin to move your head, yes and no. Just helping the neck to release. And then letting the head hang, letting gravity do the work just for a few more breaths. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Good. Beautiful. Now you're going to crawl forward, take the block away if you're using it, and come back to table pose, hands and knees for a few moments. Knees are hip distance, hands are flat, fingers spread out, middle finger forward. Inhale, exhale. Remember, we inhale, tail and chin go up. Exhales, tail and chin go down. So it is a gentle forward fold and back bend for the neck. See if the neck feels a little bit looser, a little better. Okay. Now our last pose for the neck, we're going to come to our seat, bring the feet out in front. And so we've been through our spinal twisting and thread the needle, right with the face against the mat on each side. And then in our side plank, we let the head hang to address the lateral flexion, the sides of the neck. Now we're going to get into the back bend because the forward fold got into the back of the neck coming forward. And now we're going to get into the back bending of the neck. So place your feet flat. Let your knees fall side to side. So I want you to understand how the neck works, right? And the way that it's supposed to be able to move naturally without injury and all the tension that we might be experiencing. And remember, tension is temporary. All right, so this next pose can be pretty intense on your wrists, on your shoulders. If you're not very flexible in your shoulders, I'm going to give you an alternative. But let me show you reverse table first. Your feet are hip distance facing forward. Your hands are placed in a way that feels natural, because what we're going to do is we're going to lift the bum off the floor. So find where it feels comfortable. I like to spread my fingers out. My fingers are kind of angled out, but some people like them to the sides or back or straight forward. I used to do it straight forward, and sometimes I change it around. So you're just going to lift as high as you can go, and then slowly, and I know it seems a little scary if you've had neck issues, let your head hang back. But notice how your shoulder girdle supports the neck. Lock your arms straight, squeeze the butt to lift. Feet are flat. I know it's tempting to lift the toes, but keep them down for support and control. When you come down, keep your head back until your hips touch the ground, and then slowly bring your head up. Shake your hands out. We want the bottoms of the feet to kiss. Knees open as a square between your legs here. Shake your hands out. Get the tension out of the wrists. Roll the shoulders back. And then we're just going to let the head hang. So this is a counter pose for a reverse table. This is called butterfly. You can use your block between your legs for your elbows to rest on. Maybe you're a little higher or a little lower. Just let the head hang, right? Getting into the back of the neck again. You can rock your chin like a pendulum if that feels good. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. Beautiful. Now let's slowly come up to seated. And if you have two blocks, I'd like you to place one sideways and the other one sideways if your neck can handle it. And what we do is we place the block sideways right behind the chest. And this is going to address the thoracic spine. And then let your head rest against the other block. Now, some of you, if you want to make it stronger, turn the block flat and let your head go back. So you just have to find, where does it feel right for my neck to heal? Because we're all suffering from different ailments in the neck. I had a gymnastics injury when I was 12 that compressed all my cervical spine, and now I have arthritis in my neck. Maybe you've been doing cycling classes and your hands have been way out in front of you, shoulders in front of you, chin up, so your neck has been jacked in that way. It just depends on what you're suffering from. So if you listen to your body, you do what feels good, you will find healing more quickly. Now let's stretch the arms up and over the head to make it more intense. For those of you that want a little bit more, do this every day so you don't end up with a rounded upper spine, thoracic, like you see in a lot of our older folks. This is the remedy. Good. Feeling the chest being lifted, the thoracic spine, and a gentle back bend. Remember to keep breathing. Your arms can also go straight out to the sides in a T shape. And when you're doing this on your own, you might just want to pause the recording and stay here for 5 or even 10 minutes to really open up the upper spine. So this is just a gentle introduction to some of the neck and upper back shoulder work that we do in yin yoga. So to get out of this pose, I'd like you to slide your feet flat, knees pointed to the sky, and then let your knees fall to the right or left and roll off the blocks onto your side body in fetal position. And just rest there, maybe using your bottom arm as a pillow. Use your hands in front of you to slowly come up to seated. And then just sit in seated meditation pose just for a second so you can tune in to how you feel now. Close your eyes, feel your breath going in and out. Notice how your shoulders and neck feel, maybe turning your head side to side gently, just to check in with yourself, lifting the chin to the sky, gently dropping your chin towards your chest, rocking the chin like a pendulum here a couple of times. And then bringing the head back up, letting the right ear drop towards the right shoulder. Keep on breathing. Bring the head up and drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. Good. Bring your head up. Just notice how you feel. And keep coming back to this practice as much as you need to. This is a safe practice to do every day as long as you listen to your body and take care of yourself. Thank you for joining me, and I wish you cervical spine neck health. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.